This tutorial is for 5th grade, Module 5, Lesson 21. In this lesson, we're going to review the different qualities or attributes of quadrilaterals. I have basically a family tree here of quadrilaterals, and I'm going to follow each of the branches to explain the connections between the shapes. We'll start up at the top with the quadrilateral itself, and that basically means that we have a four-sided shape. I'm going to follow the arrows down the right side of the tree first. So following this arrow, it points to the trapezoid, which is what we call this shape in the United States. In the United Kingdom, it's called a trapezium. So you might hear it called that name as well. The definition of a trapezoid is that it's a quadrilateral with at least two parallel sides. So for example, in this figure, I have this top side being parallel to the bottom side, so I have two sides that are parallel. But notice the definition says at least. Because of this, there's an arrow pointing from the trapezoid to the parallelogram. A parallelogram has two sets of parallel sides. The top and bottom are parallel, and the sides are parallel. So the parallelogram would be considered a special type of trapezoid, since the trapezoid has to have at least two parallel sides, and the parallelogram has two sets of parallel sides. The rectangle is a special trapezoid. It has two sets of parallel sides. The top and bottom are parallel, and the sides are parallel. The special quality of a rectangle is that it has four right angles. So we have four sides, which makes it a quadrilateral, two sets of parallel sides, and that makes it a trapezoid, and four right angles, and that's what makes it a rectangle. Now you can see, if we go back to the parallelogram, there's also an arrow that points to the rectangle, because again, the parallelogram has two sets of parallel sides. Top and bottom are parallel, the sides are parallel. So the rectangle is a special trapezoid, but it's also a special parallelogram. So if I start at the bottom here, a rectangle can be a trapezoid, or it also can be referred to as a parallelogram. A parallelogram can be referred to as a trapezoid, and a trapezoid can be referred to as a quadrilateral. Now let's go back down to the rectangle, because there's an arrow pointing from the rectangle to the square. So if you remember, for the rectangle, it has to have four sides and four right angles. And if you look at the square, it has four sides and four right angles. The special quality of the square is that all four sides are the same length. Because it has four sides and four right angles, a square is considered a rectangle. It falls in the rectangle family. It's just a special type of rectangle. Now, let's go back up to the top and start on the left-hand side here. So again, we're going to start with quadrilateral, and the first shape we're going to go to is the kite. The kite is a four-sided figure, that's why it's in the quadrilateral group. On the kite, the adjacent sides, or the sides that are right next to each other, are the same measurement. So here, the two red top sides are the same measurement. And the bottom two sides that are adjacent are also the same measurement. So we have two sets of equal sides. That's what makes the kite. You'll notice on the kite that there are no parallel sides. That's why there is not an arrow pointing to the parallelogram. But from the kite, we can go down to the rhombus. The reason being is, if I look at my adjacent sides, this side and this side, those are the same length. And these two bottom adjacent sides have the same length as well. In the whole shape, all four sides are equal. That's what makes it the rhombus. The rhombus has four equal sides. And you can see that there's an arrow going from the parallelogram to the rhombus. When you make all four sides equal, that forces the opposite sides to be parallel. So this side is parallel to this side, and this side is parallel to this side. So that's why it's a kite, because the adjacent sides are equal, but it's a parallelogram because opposite sides are parallel. And finally, there's an arrow going from the rhombus to the square. Again, if we think of the definition of a rhombus as having four equal sides, the square also has four equal sides. It's a special type of rhombus. So there's our quadrilateral family tree and how all the shapes are related to each other.